Precious Prodigy Peter Parker by concreteflour. Chapter 3. Training Day. Spider-Man was twisting and turning through the air like his life depended on it. And in a way it did. Today's training session set Peter against two former assassins and the world's first super soldier. Spider-Man completed his flip and landed on the wall of the training room, 16 feet off the ground. As soon as his feet hit, he sprang in another direction as his spider senses detected danger approaching. Less than a second after he vacated that spot, an arrow let loose webbing just before it impacted the wall. "No!" complained Clint, aka Hawkeye, as yet another of his arrows missed the target. "It's not fair, he shouldn't have seen that coming." "Arrows are easy," said Peter. "They're only going 350 feet a second. A machine gun takes real concentration." As he said this, he jumped to avoid Cap's shield, which clanged and rebounded off the wall. At the moment of rebound and still in transit to another wall, Spider-Man shot out a web that attached the shield, and he threw it at the ceiling, where another set of webs held it in place. Rolling backward and tucking his legs up into Cap's chest, he catapulted the super soldier in the direction the Black Widow was approaching him from, slowing her advance and giving Peter time to elevate a position out of her reach. Another arrow wasted itself against the training room wall just before the bow itself was covered in sticky webs, rendering it useless. The training had been going on for over 45 minutes. No one, as of yet, had gotten a serious shot at their opponent. None of the Avengers had slowed down Spider-Man, and other than some webbing, he hadn't hit them. "That's it. That's all for now." Everyone relaxed, with Peter standing upside down from the ceiling. With a practiced flip, he let go, with his feet, and landed softly on the floor. "But Peter, you're not giving your best shots back. That is minimising the positions you put yourself in, when you're in complete defensive mode. We've all watched you take down criminals, and you don't have any problem missing it up with them. Why aren't you with us?" "Well," Peter started, "it's difficult. I'm spending so much energy in defence that if I were to slip even a little bit when I hit someone like Aunt Nat or Uncle Clint, I could seriously hurt them. You, Captain America, could probably shake off a good hit from me, but they aren't enhanced. What if I hurt them?" "That's why we need you to attack," Cap said. "We need you to be able to focus on multiple things at once, not only your infernal spider sense, but the people you are fighting too. Think of it this way, you've got 8 bad guys lined up and you know number 4 is super strong. You need to be able to regulate your strength on all the rest, but still present yourself as a threat to the enhanced criminal. Does that make sense?" "Yes, it does," answered Peter. "It'd be easier if it wasn't Aunt Nat and Uncle Clint. I don't want to hurt them by accident." Natasha spoke up. "All the better reason to practice trying it." Captain America nodded his head. "We need the practice too, you know. We need to practice against every special power, so when we see something similar in the field we can be ready." "Which reminds me," Nat said, "how feasible would it be for us to be able to learn to operate your webs? It would be a great advantage if we could use them to swing down from somewhere high, both for surprise or escape." Peter pulled off his mask and rubbed his face. "I don't think that would help." "Why not? It seems easy enough to do," asked the Black Widow. "There's actually quite a lot that goes into it, but the simple answer is brute strength. At the bottom of a swing with a diameter of 100 feet, you have a load on your system of almost 4G, or 4 times your weight. For Clint, that would be 800 pounds of force and your hands and shoulders. Uncle Steve might be able to withstand the force, but it'd be difficult for anyone else. Plus, there are some other considerations." "Like what?" asked Cap. "Well, it is difficult, especially at the beginning, to know where to put your next web. You've all seen my early videos on YouTube and seen some of my less than glorious landings. I have found that maybe part of my spider sense, I have acute spatial awareness, knowing where the walls, signposts, ceilings are around me. That and 2 other things Mr. Stark helped me to find. The first is kinesthesia, a kind of awareness of movement between me and my surroundings. The second is proprioception, where I have the ability to know exactly where my hands, feet, or limbs are at any moment. Is that like your accursed spider sense? Clint said from behind Peter. It's not really fair. While still looking forward at Natasha and Steve, Peter flipped his wrist over and let loose a thwip. A well-placed web adhered itself over Clint's mouth before he could finish that statement. That explains your accuracy. I have wondered about that, Steve said. Peter nodded. For placing the webs, yes, but just as important as planning the next several. To avoid the bad landings. You'll need to utilise vector analysis to understand where you'll be with the next web you just started swinging on, and where the next one will take you. Each anchor point is only a quick route to the side of a building, or the ground if you don't plan ahead. Since I hardly ever swing in a straight line towards my objective, it's a series of left and right angles to get to where I need to go. One error in my computation and I go splat into the side of Macy's, and another YouTube video becomes famous. Natasha looked at the young man seriously. I know Tony has his suit to help him fly, but how can you do that while dodging Clint's, nice shot there by the way, arrows? Peter laughed. Lots of practice and way too many splats. Luckily, physics and math come pretty easy, so it's actually fun to figure out. This may sound funny, but it actually helps me relax. If you haven't noticed, most of the bad guys are bigger than me. Steve was shaking his head. Okay guys, let's head to the showers and get some dinner. Peter's eyes lit up at the thought of food, and he was the first one out the door. Clint walked over to them, finally able to get the webbing off his mouth. Most of it anyway. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want to fight him. That little squirt moves like nothing I've ever seen, and avoids everything I try to do. He held up his bow, still covered in thick webbing. How long before this stuff dissolves? Nat ignored him. The kid is right, darn it. I would love to be able to utilise his webs. Cap, you might be the only one of us that could. Even Tony in his suit isn't flexible enough. No, I couldn't either, said Steve. That kid gives Tony a run for pure smarts. I wouldn't even try to do extended swings like he does. In the middle of a battle, trying to figure what did he say? Vector analysis. Nope, my schooling was 75 years ago and it didn't get that far. We are going to find a way to get him more aggressive. I want to see him taking the offensive in these trainings. Clint groaned. I have a feeling that's gonna hurt. The three Avengers left the training room. Natasha stopped and pointed to the ceiling. Cap, aren't you forgetting something? Nah, when I see my webs dissolve off Clint's bow, I know I can come pick my shield off the floor. Thanks for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this chapter. Have a lovely day.